Happy Monday, everybody. We're back with another Monday morning quarterback show. I'm Kurt Benkert, and I'm your host, and we have one more show after this to wrap up the season. We'll be out in San Francisco for the big game, the big events, all that good stuff, and we will be rolling. But today, we have a nice recap episode of what happened in the conference championship weekend. We've got our reactions, we've got our updated Super Bowl predictions, a lot of new offseason coaching hires, some blockbuster potential trades that we have, potentially draft insights. Maybe there'll be a movement of the number one overall pick. Maybe there won't be. And then my favorite section, how did this happen? Where we break down film using our old friend here with Copilot by Microsoft. But we're going to give you guys a moment to get in here, get into the chat. We have our notifications going out. And any questions you guys might have all along the way, I will be stopping. I will be answering. We can talk ball, give opinions, give insight, feedback, everything. This is not just about me today. It is about all of us enjoying some football as it winds down throughout the end of the season. Now, I do want to get into our quick reaction of the conference championship weekend. All right? We have 3 minutes to talk about it, and I'm going to start right now. All right, let's get into it. Patriots, Broncos. Kind of a crazy game. Obviously, some missed opportunities from the Broncos. The Patriots did just enough to win, but I really think this game came down to the backwards pass by Stidham. I think he started off pretty well. He was in control of the game, hit a deep shot, got them down there, really opened it up. Nice job on the play action here. Cortland Sutton getting open in the back of the end zone, and it was all dandy. But then they give them the ball in the short field when the Patriots offense wasn't able to do anything all game long against the Broncos defense. And to give them a short field on that backwards pass that he should have just taken a sack, that changed the whole course of the game. Obviously, the Patriots defense also played pretty well. Just threw up a hand grenade there, Stiddy. The receiver wasn't ready for it. Gonzo was. And that was a wrap. But really, when you looked at this game, Drake May did not have a great game. He did just enough on the ground. But early in that game, he almost threw a pick six that would have changed the entire outcome of the game. Threw it right to the defender. He dropped it. And May, less than 50% completion percentage, less than 100 yards passing. He had a rushing touchdown that was set up by the short field on Stidham's fumble, but I was not impressed. I wasn't impressed by anything the Patriots did on offense. Now, they did hit a few key plays to win the game, and that's where they got their hay. Drake May converted on the fourth down. He had the flea flicker that he hit, a great pass that he threw to Mac Hollins, but that was about it. And their defense played really well, like the defense that has played well all season long. Now, the real game of the day was the Rams-Seahawks because this game was incredible. The Rams started off pretty hot. The Seahawks also started off hot. It was back and forth. But by the time we got to the halftime point of that game, the Seahawks getting a touchdown before the half was a really, really big turning point, and it kind of never looked back. There were some hairy moments, but they were able to hold strong. See, Stafford was getting it done. Stafford, the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 350-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, only take 1 sack, and lose a playoff game. But Sam Darnold, constantly under pressure all night, reading out the defense, making his dialed-in plays that he needed to, and JSN coming alive. And you got plays like this. Cooper Kupp scoring on his old team, finally in the soft zone. But Matthew Stafford was never going to just go away. This play was where I really thought this thing was going to change. We had Woolen, had the personal foul, gave them the extra possession. They scored a touchdown on that, but this was crazy, man. Stafford, 22 of 35, 374, 3 tugs. Sam Darnold, 25 of 36, 346, 3 tugs. I loved what I saw to Kenneth Walker. He got it done in the pass game as well as the running game. And Jackson Smith and Jigba in a class of his own. Puka Nacua had a great day as well. But, man, Smith and Jigba, a couple touchdowns. He had 1 touchdown, then he had some other big plays. But really incredible outing. The Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl. The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. And we get a rematch. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think? We're going to have some chat coming up. We're going to have a poll coming up to see who we believe will win the Super Bowl. I'm seeing hopefully Sam Darnold wins it all from Peter in chat. Seattle will win it all. Let's go. We did it in under 3 minutes. I missed that when I saw as a Pats fan. We need to. Here we go. Let's get a poll. Who do you guys think will win the Super Bowl? I'm telling you right now, I've got the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to win. I know the Patriots defense, pretty good defense most of the playoffs, but I don't think they've played an offense like Seattle's, to be honest. I think Denver's offense with Stidham wasn't great. I don't think Denver's offense really has been great all year. I think they rely on big plays a little bit too much, and when they can't run the ball, it's kind of tough. But seeing the Seahawks 24-10, I really am interested in seeing how Drake May plays against the Seattle defense because the Seattle defense is a different type of monster. And I know that they played against Denver and their defense was good too, but Seattle's defense plays with a different urgency that I don't think many teams in the league play with. And they're going to be juiced up for the Super Bowl. I saw some things out of Drake May when I was watching the film this morning that kind of alarmed me for, if they can't give him a clean picture, make him double clutch, the O-line plays like they had the past few games, I think it could be a really long Super Bowl game for Drake May. That's all I'm going to say. But chat, I'm seeing your guys' stuff rolling in. I appreciate you so much for being here, hanging out, talking ball on this wonderful, wonderful Monday morning. It looks like we have a 59 to 41% Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. I would say that probably sounds about right. I mean, the Patriots are going to need to have some things go their way to win this Super Bowl, in my opinion. That's my humblest of opinion. Seeing Joey saying if we get regular season Drake May, we have a shot. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really think that the Patriots have not played many good defenses throughout the regular season. And they've found a way because their defense is also really good. They have a championship level defense. But the offense has taken advantage of bad defenses all year long, in my opinion. And now you see, if you look at what Drake May has done, and this is not like an indictment on Drake May, but I do want to pull up his stats real quick. I want to pull up some of the last few games that he's played. Again, he played against the Texans defense. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Let's see the Patriots' last few games, okay? Played against the Chargers defense, played against the Texans defense, played against the Broncos defense. Against the Chargers defense, it was okay. It was okay. Drake May went 17 of 29, had a touchdown and an interception, and he had 2 fumbles, okay, and he lost 1. So, one touchdown, 2 turnovers, but 3 potential turnovers in that game, okay? And then you go to the Texans game. Drake May turned it on in the second half a little bit in the passing game. He had 3 touchdowns, but he had an interception, and then he had 4 fumbles, 2 lost fumbles. So he had 5 turnover-worthy plays that game. So we're at 8 turnover-worthy plays in 2 games. And then you get to this Broncos game. And yes, he had his rushing touchdown, okay? He had his rushing touchdown in the red zone. That was kind of a gift from the turnover. But I don't know. He didn't have any, he did not have a fumble, but he also had the potential interception. I think that we're seeing like a trend here, guys, where there are a lot of turnover-worthy plays that have not been taken full advantage of from the defenses that they're playing against or the offenses on the flip side, where I think that the Seahawks are one of the most opportunistic defenses with an offense that will take advantage of turnovers that we've seen all year, and that's why they're in the Super Bowl. So if the Patriots want to have a chance, they need to cut out the turnover-worthy type plays, play clean, establish the run, and see if they got a shot. But let's see. We've got Patriots have to limit JSN and keep May upright to have a shot. That is true. That is very true, and Hawks defense will destroy May. That's kind of what I'm looking at, guys. I think that we saw the Super Bowl type game last night with the Seahawks and Rams. Like that felt like whoever won that game was going to have an easier shot to win the Super Bowl. I don't think the Patriots, they made it there, but the way that they had to get there, in my opinion, CJ Stroud 2 weeks ago gave them a lot of really uncharacteristic turnovers that weren't necessarily forced by the Patriots, but they were opportunistic in receiving them. And I just think you have to have a lot of things go your way to get to the Super Bowl, and that's kind of where the Patriots were in that part. But they're there. I don't want to take anything away from them. But let's get it going now. Let's go to the updated Super Bowl predictions. I'm going to give it my official updated Super Bowl prediction here. Officially official. I am declaring the Seattle Seahawks as my Super Bowl winner over the Patriots. They were my Super Bowl winner from day one. They are my Super Bowl winner today. I have said it from the very beginning. We can fact check that. That is the truth. We did this segment early on. A lot of other things did not go that way, but the one thing stays the same, and that's the Seattle Seahawks winning the Super Bowl for me over the Patriots. I'm going to give a predictive score of, let's go, I'm going to say 27-13. 27-13, Seattle is going to win the Super Bowl. Now, let's get to our next section because we do got some things we got to talk about here. We got to talk about tiering the new head coaching hires that have already been committed to within the NFL. Some of these I thought were solid. Some of these I'm a little bit questionable about. And you know what? This just seems to be one of those weird coaching years where there's a lot of openings and maybe not a lot of candidates that are lighting the world on fire. Maybe that's just what it is. I don't know. But let's start with the Zillow browsers category. Starting from the bottom. I think that my two guys for this category are going to be Mike McCarthy and Jesse Minter. Now, I like Jesse Minter as a defensive coach. I'm really interested in seeing what they do on the offensive side of the ball because they do have talent, but they do have holes as well. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is one of the best players in the league with the Ravens. But what's the long-term look like? Are they going to keep him? Are they going to trade him? We don't know. We don't know anything about the Baltimore Ravens, but they always should be better than they end up being. Can Minter fix that? Maybe. Maybe not. Now, the Steelers, I know the Steelers are really, really upset, especially the fan base, about Mike McCarthy being the head coach now. And they believe that it's tied to just Aaron Rodgers being there. And Aaron Rodgers might give them one more year, might not. Who knows? But this feels like a legacy family, a legacy organization hiring a legacy coach for the sake of legacy. Now, Mike McCarthy's offenses have been pretty solid. Defensively, they were pretty good with Dan Quinn when he had him as the defensive coordinator. Game management has always kind of struggled for Mike McCarthy. I don't know what to think about this, but I do see that this could be one of those things where maybe Mike McCarthy comes in. If they have a great year, great. If they don't have a good year, they might be on the shuffle again for next year when a new, better hire becomes available. That's what I could see. But who knows? He's going to be browsing Zillow right now. Maybe he'll be browsing Zillow again in a little bit of time. Now, let's get to the next tier. Let's talk about seat on preheat. Let's talk about Robert Saleh and Jeff Hafley. Now, both of these guys are defensive-minded head coaches. Both of these guys have not had success as head coaches. Both of these guys have had success as defensive coordinators. Can they right the ship? Can they right the ship this time? Well, both of them went to less than ideal situations to start. Okay, less than ideal situations in places, Tennessee and Florida, that have no state income tax. No state income tax. I think this is a financial play for both of these guys. Do they believe that they can rebuild both of these franchises? Maybe. Maybe, probably. They wouldn't have taken the job if they didn't think remotely that they could rebuild them. But you're talking about two guys that I think are good at what they do, haven't showed to have the success as head coaches, or even these two teams have had no success really in the last few years. Their rosters are not in great spots. They've got to have a complete rebuild. But I think Robert Saleh and Jeff Hafley both took these jobs for the same reason. Guaranteed head coaching contracts with no state income tax. That's what I'm going to say. That is what I'm going to say. Let's get to the last part. We're going to go to Dynasty Loading, then we're going to get the chat. The two hires right now that I think do make sense the most, give me John Harbaugh and Kevin Stefanski. And I think Kevin Stefanski, I wanted to start with him because he did win Coach of the Year, 2 times, I believe, a couple of years ago. Then he got stuck with the Deshaun Watson debacle, okay? And Baker Mayfield shipped him out. Baker was playing okay, got them to the playoffs. Baker's progressed a lot now and has become a way better player. I think Stefanski going to Atlanta with a team that just needs some stability in the coaching department, needs an offense that is a little bit more modern. I think that Stefanski's a good fit for the Falcons. I do. And I think that they've got a chance to take advantage of a really bad division. And now John Harbaugh, it's going to come down to who does he hire? What guys does he get around? And can he elevate in the game management department? I think the Giants roster is better than people think, especially when they get Neighbors back. They have some top picks. They need to nail it in the draft. But last year, they had a really good draft too. Like, they are decent at finding talent. Can Harbaugh get them over the hump and maybe flip the old NFC East? I think they could. I think they have a pretty talented roster. It's going to come down to who do they get in the building, how did their coaches perform, because we know John Harbaugh is more of a CEO type of coach. He is not necessarily calling any plays at all. So, Dynasty Loading, Giants, Falcons, that's kind of where I see it. The rest of them, we'll see. But I do want to talk the chat. Let's talk the chat. We're seeing Drake May legacy game in chat. You never know. He doesn't have to play in the snow. Doesn't have to play in the cold weather, which we know affects his game a lot. We have seen. So we're going to see him out in Santa Clara and see what he can do. How come Stafford's 2 worst games reverse bad teams? Well, I'm going to be honest. The Panthers' defense is pretty solid. Panthers' defense is pretty good, and I don't think that they're necessarily a bad team. They just inconsistent. But they weren't great. I will say that. If the Patriots can get after Darnold, he will make mistakes. Also, if Pats can create some havoc, they could rob some points. JP, while I do typically believe that, yeah, if you can get after quarterbacks, they potentially will make mistakes. Sam Darnold showed last night that he got hit in the mouth, had a haywire. They had a bunch of disguised coverages, bunch of everything thrown his way, and he handled it flawlessly. I mean, Sam Darnold, guys, was a surgeon last night, and you guys got to watch the film. I have 2 film breakdowns that are going to be going up on YouTube, all in one video that you guys can watch later. But Sam Darnold did some really incredible things, and the ghosts no longer exist. Let's see. Everyone's sleeping on the Patriots. Kind of crazy. I'm not buying it. And even if they win a Super Bowl, I'm still not going to buy it. And maybe I'm just biased, but they've got to really show me something against the Seahawks for me to believe it. And I think to beat a team like the Seahawks that is a really damn good team, really opportunistic, has dogs everywhere, you're going to have to play out of your mind. I truly believe that. Score prediction for the Super Bowl, I'm going 27-13 Seahawks in a onslaught. And I think that the 13 points from the Patriots comes from like a late garbage time touchdown, to be honest. And then lastly, do I think Belichick comes back to the NFL? I don't think so. If I was a GM, if I was an owner, look at the 2 guys in the Super Bowl right now, Mike Macdonald, Vrabel. It's a younger league now. The game has changed. You got to be willing to change your mindset, change your philosophy, how you interact with players. Like, these players are different now too. These players are their own businesses when they come into the league, having already made millions from college. Like, it is a different ballgame. You are not, the old school way of doing it is not going to get it done. I want you guys to listen to Mike Macdonald's interview preseason that he did of how he treats his players, how he talks to his players, and how he gets on their level before he demands things from them. It's really good. Now, let's get to the next one. Let's talk about some potential blockbuster trades, because I think this offseason is going to be crazy, guys. You're looking at a Super Bowl right now that has Sam Darnold and Drake May, okay? I would not be shocked to see some quarterbacks on the move. Now, let's talk about it. Joe Burrow seems disgruntled with the Bengals. The Bengals are the only team in the AFC North that did not move on from their head coach. Could the Bengals move on from Joe Burrow? Could they get an absolute haul for Joe Burrow from the Vikings to get Joe Burrow back in the situation with Justin Jefferson? I think the Vikings have the capital to do it. I think the Bengals as an organization are inherently cheap. I think the Bengals have a lot of money tied up in Jamar Chase and in T. Higgins and in Joe Burrow. And their formula for the 3-headed monster on offense to be where all that money is tied up has not worked out for them. And I think that we are at a dynamic right now where Joe Burrow might just wither away with the Bengals. Maybe. Did I miss a chat? Jeff? Did I miss a chat to Jeff? Jeff, if I missed something, what's up, man? Let's see it. But I'm looking right now. I think this would be something that makes a lot of sense. And blockbuster trades don't happen all the time, but I'd love to see Joe Burrow to the Vikings with an offensive coordinator that I think is opportunistic, puts quarterbacks in good situations, and a team that is pretty much set to win right now. I think that if Joe Burrow got sent to the Vikings, they've got the defense that is a problem with Flores. They've got Joe Burrow to anchor the offense. I think they could flip the old NFC North, but we'll see. And then the next one for me, let's talk about Max Crosby to the Cowboys. This one to me just makes so much sense. Now, are the Raiders going to trade him? Maybe. Maybe not. I think the Raiders are in a rebuild, but they also have a lot of cap coming up. They got a lot of draft picks coming up. They could be a team that could flip the roster and be in a competitive place. However, I think the Raiders also in a division. That's going to be tough, man. You got the Broncos twice a year. You got the Chiefs who are going to rebuild. You've got the Chargers who seemingly just win enough games to make it to the playoffs and then exit. Maybe Max Crosby goes to the Cowboys and they get a D end again. Because the Cowboys are going to need help on defense. They're not going to be able to get it done with Dak Prescott throwing the ball 45 times a game to try to stay in this. All right. Let's get it. Let's get to chat. What up? It's Jeff, your old equipment manager at ECU. Jeff, let's get it. Let's get it. Shout out to the Pirates, baby. Shout out to the Pirates. Much love, Jeff. Thanks for hanging out with us. The Seattle Seahawks will win the Super Bowl. I believe that as well. We got another chat coming through. I'm seeing May is no better than a backup. I wouldn't go that far. But I'm telling you guys, like, I don't want to be negative. I'm tired of being negative. I hope Drake May does well in the Super Bowl, but I do believe that the Seahawks will win. I like Drake May. I like him as a human. I like him as a player, all that. I don't love him as a player like the media does. The media just like loves them Drake May. And I think it's more for the memes than anything. But Drake May's stats were really, really good, but if you were doing a Madden franchise fantasy draft from ground zero, like I'm taking Lamar, I'm taking Josh Allen, there's going to be guys that I take over Drake May. And I just think that even this year, like Matt Stafford's my MVP this year, guys. Drake May is not my MVP. Stafford had to get it out the mud. Stafford just threw for 375, 3 touchdowns, no picks, nothing, and lost a game. Like it's football is the ultimate team sport, guys. It is the ultimate team sport. Quarterbacks get way too much praise and way too much, negativity around them, depending on winning or losing. So that's what I got for you. Now, one more chat. Let's see. Pats would have been blown out in the last game if it wasn't for the weather. I believe that too. But we got to move on. We got to talk about offers for the 2026 number 1 overall pick. And we're going to bring in my old friend Copilot for this. Now, as we know, let's see, still got Copilot up. Bang. All right. When was the last time the number 1 overall pick was traded in the NFL? Now, this one's interesting. The year was 2023. The Chicago Bears and the Carolina Panthers. And the Panthers moved up to draft Bryce Young. Crazy to me. Just crazy to me. Can we not learn something here? The trade package included DJ Moore, the number 9 pick, the number 61 pick, the 2024 first-round pick, which they used for Caleb Williams, and the 2025 second-round pick. It was the latest move to get the number 1 overall pick. But the crazy thing is, you're telling me that they traded Bryce Young for Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and 3 other picks that I can't name right now because I don't have the information because I didn't ask the question, but I need to ask the question. You got to be careful with that number 1 overall pick, guys, and how much you value it, because what's bright and shiny today might not be what's best for the organization long term. And I think that when we get into the moment of the draft and the heat of the draft, the shiny object, the number 1 overall pick, the best thing, bam. As soon as the draft is over, as soon as they close it, stop the clock, it's done. That number 1 overall pick's not the number 1 overall pick anymore. He's just a player on the team. And that player on the team now is just going to be, measured against all the other players in the league. And sometimes the number 1 overall pick to grab a quarterback is worth it, and sometimes it's not. And I just think more often than not, how often does the number 1 overall pick as a quarterback truly pan out? I mean, let's look at some recent history, okay? And I'm saying panning out in terms of opportunity cost. And I want to get into this before we get into our last part of this. But you're looking at guys I believe, let's see, recent number 1 overall picks. Let's see here. You've got Jared Goff, Jameis Winston, Jadeveon Clowney. These are obviously from 10 years ago. But some of these names, guys, I think you're better off Andrew Luck, Cam Newton. I really do think that in the history of time, we've got Sam Bradford, Matthew Stafford. You are better off trading your number 1 overall pick for multiple players almost every single time if someone's willing to take the cheese. If I got the number 1 overall pick, I'm dangling the cheese. Anybody that wants the cheese can come get it, because that number 1 overall pick oftentimes is not going to change your franchise as much as a couple really good players can. And you see it all the time. These quarterbacks, the free agent quarterbacks, the traded quarterbacks, a lot of times those are the ones that go the distance. So just keep that as food for thought. Now, we do have some other questions. But let's get into this. Some offers for the number 1 overall pick. If I was the Raiders, this is something I'd really consider, trying to dangle the cheese for the Ravens. Can I offer the number 1 overall pick and some other extras for Lamar Jackson? Like, can I get Lamar Jackson? Because that shiny number 1 overall pick that someone's probably going to use for Mendoza or maybe, an offensive lineman or something, can I dangle that as worth a whole lot to somebody to get them to move off of a Lamar Jackson? Maybe. Like, if I'm the Raiders, dude, I swear I'm looking for a quarterback that I can trade for that I think elevates me, and I'm giving up some stuff. Maybe it's Max Crosby in the number 1 overall pick for Lamar Jackson. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. The other one that I'm considering is I'm going to dangle that cheese in front of the Jets. I'm going to dangle the hell out of that cheese in front of the Jets because I know the Jets have the number 2 overall pick, and I know that the Jets have been in quarterback purgatory for a long time, and I know the Jets are probably going to listen to the media, and I think that they're going to probably want Mendoza. So as I'm looking at it, maybe they can dangle that pick to get the Jets to move up 1 spot, pick Mendoza, and get their next first-round pick for the next year too. If I'm the Raiders, guys, I'm not taking the shiny object this year. I'm trying to get a haul because you've got to look at it. Does that shiny object get me over the hump of the defense of the Broncos, playing Mahomes twice a year, Justin Herbert? Like, does it? I don't know. I think a traded for a quarterback or maybe a Kyler Murray off a rebound, free agency or something. Who knows? But I think there's other ways to do it. And I think that number 1 overall pick has a lot more value in a trade than it does being used. That's just my thought. But maybe I play too much Madden. Who knows? Anyone think the Patriots will put up double-digit points are crazy. I think they had a really, really fun path to the Super Bowl, and I think it all comes crashing down. The Pats are back. The Pats are back just said Drake May is just as good as Lamar and Allen, but 6 years younger. Got to put some respect on their names, dude. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. I don't even want to get into it because I'm not going to try to slander Drake May. I'm not going to do it. I like him. Just think there's a little bit of a misconception of what's being put out there. Now, let's get into my favorite section before we wrap this up. How did this happen? Now, let's get the video. We had some incredible plays last night. We had a bunch of incredible plays, but this one definitely stood out. And this one was pretty well schemed up when you're looking at it across the board by the Rams defense, how they wanted to stop this. Now, we're going to get a zone read fake, but it's not even like there's no actual read to a boot out, okay? We're going to get a block shed. Can we pin it? On a little block shed? We're going to try to pull down in the flat, and then this is for JSN. We got 48 here. And look at this job that Sam Darnold does to flip his hips, change his arm angle, and get this ball to a spot where he cannot get a hand on it before the sideline, and JSN going to do JSN things. Just crazy, man. We'll watch it back one more time because that was incredible. But look at this full flow from the beginning. And these are the types of plays. Like this allows you to get a better shot at the end zone later in the drive, moves the chains. And that was 3rd and short? I mean, these are the types of things that Sam Darnold has not been missing. How many times do you see quarterbacks get this ball batted down by a hand here? And it's the perfect spot, gets 2 feet down, JSN doing what he does best, but these Seahawks, man, they're cooking. And if they keep cooking like this, they will be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy in about 2 weeks. They'll be heading to Disney, and they'll be enjoying the hell out of it. Just like I've enjoyed this show all year long. Thank you guys so much for having us. Thank you guys for chatting along, hanging out, giving the advice, giving the predictions, giving the opinions, all of it. I appreciate all of you, no matter what way you look at the game. It's been a lot of fun, and we will catch you guys next week before we wrap up this season of the show. Have a good week.